Here we go. Maybe not. No, it doesn't want to share its screen today. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, it's why does it always go to the end? It drives me crazy.
And can you ask Haley, just say, Haley, where are you?
Oh, yep, there she is. Yay, Miss Haley. We were wondering where you were, but I'm glad you're back. Oh, and she's back. All right. Oh, can you tell me that a little bit later when I can play with it? Oh, thank you, Fen. All right, water around the world. We know that we've been working on that for a while. So you're going to use all those memories, all of that interesting stuff that you have learned. We're going to add it all together and start making some stuff with it. So our learning target looks like yesterday's. We started this learning target, but we haven't finished it yet. So our learning target is I can research to build knowledge about solutions and the importance for conserving water, for not polluting water, for helping others get water, right? So we are going to be we did that yesterday. We took a look at 2 pages from One Well. We used that source to fill in our pages that we had yesterday. We had our 3 different note catchers. And these are going to, so obviously we pretty much filled up these note catchers already, right? Yeah. But we want more ideas than we have just in that little tiny box because we want to persuade people to make a difference, right? And to make that difference, we want to give them lots of possibilities of ways they can solve this problem. And we just wrote a couple down yesterday together. But today you're going to focus on one area. You're going to, Mrs. Aubin and I assigned you either access, demand, or pollution. Okay? So you're going to narrow your focus. Instead of trying to learn about 3 things, you're just going to really focus on learning about 1. All right? Because if you are really an expert at that 1, then you're going to be more persuasive and better able to convince them than if you're trying to stick all of it in there together, right? Too many ideas doesn't make you sound it makes you sound scattered, right? Instead of very focused and an expert. So why are we doing this? Well, we know that at the end of our module that you'll be making a PSA. And that PSA will really be all of your learning, all of your gathering, all those great things you've learned, and putting them into a way to really impress and convince someone that they need to help us with this. We're going to present that to other people. Now, yesterday I showed an example of a PSA, didn't I? I showed you an example of one. I'm going to show it again because we did have some friends that were missing yesterday, and I want to make sure that they get to see that. And I want to, and it doesn't hurt us to think about, again, like what kind of things we want to learn today so that we can put them into the PSA and ours so that it's just as good as this one. All right. So I'm going to show it again.
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Seriously, a crisis. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. It's happening all over the world, especially in developing areas of sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. It's a water crisis because it starts with water. But water affects everything. Education, health, poverty, and especially women and children. Let's look at a family caught in the water crisis. It's likely they live on less than $1 a day. When they're thirsty, they can't just turn on the faucet for a nice cold glass of water. They don't have a faucet. Instead, the women and children go off to collect water. Many walk up to 3 hours a day to the nearest swamp, pond, or river to gather water that's been sitting out in the open, exposed to all kinds of germs. Time spent gathering water is time they can't spend learning to read, write, earn an income, or take care of their family. Some women in sub-Saharan Africa spend more time collecting water than any other activity they do in the day. And the walk isn't just hard, it's dangerous. The women are alone and burdened with 40 pounds of water. Many get hurt. Sometimes they're even attacked. When they make it home, the little water they've collected isn't clean. Some families know their water is contaminated with germs that cause diarrhea, dehydration, even death. But what choice do they have? Kids, especially babies, are affected most by these germs. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. And each day, almost 1 billion people are living this way. Until they get a little help. The water crisis is solvable. There are solutions. Some are brand new and innovative, like water filtration systems. Some are age-old, like drilled or hand-dug wells. These solutions bring clean water much closer to the people who need it. A safe water project near a village restores hours each day to a person's life. This time, it's opportunity. It's freedom to go to school, to get an education, to work or start a business, to raise a family. Africa alone could save 40 billion hours each year. That's the entire annual workforce of France. Clean water means less disease. That's less money spent on medicine, which means more money for books and school uniforms. And if the water project is built near a school, it can increase attendance, especially among young girls. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. And this will mean more than clean water. Because water changes everything. Join us.
All right. Now, obviously, ours is going to be a little shorter than that, right? We're not probably going to have something that long. And, these are professionals making theirs, and, we're kids, but we can still make something just as impactful, something just as, touching, right? For our families and our friends, to teach them that and this one was about access, right? About access to water. There also was a little bit of pollution in there, right? So there are sometimes some overlap, right? And you're going to see that today when you're doing some of your research. You're going to see that the three categories are kind of focused, but sometimes when you read an article or watch a video, you're going to see a little bit of maybe pollution stuff if you're doing access. You might see a little bit of demand when you're doing access, and they might cross over. But I want you to put on like your little blinders today and just focus in on what your subject is, and not all three of them, okay? Now, while you're working today, you're going to use your strengths to help people contribute to a better world. So you are going to use your strength to help your teammates. If you are a super good reader or super good on the computer and technician, you're super good at writing. If you're super good at whatever maybe you can take that idea and make it, like a whole article, and you can get the gist really well, because that's one of your strengths. You're going to help your team today, because each person's going to do their own essay, but I want you to be able to, it's better to work as a team than to try to find all of that extra information yourself, okay? So you are going to use your strength to help others. You're going to apply your learning. Your job today is to become that expert, right? We already have lots of information, but you know what? There's lots more information to find. And so we are going to break it down today, and you and your group are going to have an opportunity. I'll show you how to do that, how you can divide and conquer and help each other find some information today. Plus, obviously, when we're all working at the same time, it gets loud. So you have to keep conscious of being, focused on your job and not distracting others and trying to, do your best, right? All right, so we're going to research some water issues today. And I want you to think about, we have a lot of resources today that you're going to have a chance to look at, because we have your One Well book, and we use some of the things from your One Well book, but there's more stuff in that we didn't even add, right? So there's tons of information in that book. And there are places inside your workbook. So I asked you to bring your workbook today because also in your workbook, we have different possible things to look at. Let me get my dot camera up here. I flagged some of mine. You can I flagged them so that it'd be quick. But if your group is like, oh, I'm still needing some things for, I've still got some space on my note catcher. You're going to get a new note catcher today. I'm going to show you those. But if you'll notice, on page 23, there's this whole thing about access to fresh water. There's another page, and you can just flip through your workbook because they're all through your workbook. There's another page on 28 about population growth. That goes with demand. Oops, you can't see it. I have it too high. Sorry there. You have other pages that have to do with, this one had to do with Angola. This one was building the pipeline. This one's great for access. Okay. Oh, they're just going to flip through. They don't all need to look at it right now. So, okay, here, let me just hand them to you and you can add them in there. There are several pages in your workbook as well as your one notebook that you can also use. So you have those resources. If you wanted to think about back when we were talking about the Australia stuff, we kept these papers, right, so that we could use them again. We had to put your name on them. So if you want to go back and think about how to conserve, if you're doing demand and you want to go back to this article, we have those available for you. All right. This is the model, right, of where you want eventually to go. This is eventually what you want to be responsible for, right? Is writing this well-organized essay to encourage, to inform people about a problem and help them be able to understand that they too can help solve it. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want you to think this is where your information that you're going to find today is going to go. It's not just an hour to read and find some interesting stuff. Think about as you're reading and you're watching videos and you're reading articles, think about what would really make an impact to my reader. When you're taking notes today, what can you use for your essay? All right, it's super important. Now, we started out, this essay says, did you know that an average person in North America uses 550 liters of water every day? But in parts of the world, people use only 140, 70, or even as little as 10 liters of water a day. So we started with one of those really grabber facts, right? We just hooked the reader. When you're hooking the reader, when you're trying to, I got it. All right. So when you're trying to hook the reader, right? You're going to need a fact that you think is going to grab Lucas's attention. All right. If Lucas is our reader, right? He's going to decide whether he wants to read the rest of your essay by reading that very first sentence. Is it exciting? All right. Is it something that you want to read? Right. Remember how back in the beginning when we first read One Well, I'd asked you what was surprising, and you guys all will raise your hand and tell me something that really surprised you. Do you think that kind of fact is the thing that you might want to look for today to hook your reader? Yes. You want to look for a fact that's going to hook your reader. Like something that surprises you is probably going to surprise them and want them to read more about how they're going to fix this problem.
Can you call on Ethan and just see what something to say?
Sure. Mr. Ethan, is there something that you wanted to ask or mention or give to us as information?
Thank you.
No? Okay. All right. So you will eventually get, depending on which one we chose for you, you're going to get another note catcher, and this is what it looks like. And it says note catcher for, and then your topic, either access to water, demand for water, or water pollution. They say different things at the top, depending on what your job is. All right. Now, it also tells you what page it goes with in your workbook, because we also filled in Here's like, this one goes with page 22. Now, I don't want to write a whole bunch of solutions down. Miss Haley, just gonna close that for now. I don't want to write a lot of solutions down that are already in my solutions here. I want new ones. I want extra stuff, okay? So it tells you on your paper which one of these note catchers is the right one for you, all right? So if you go back and look at your actions, okay, what could we do to solve this problem? What are our solutions? Here you already have some. You don't need to rewrite them on here, okay? You want new stuff here. Here's our solutions to the problem, but here's a place for you to add some more interesting facts. Do you think we read everything we could possibly read about Angola? No, but if you find a movie, that might be a hint. If you find a video that is on our list it's about Angola, that has something new that you think is really amazing, write that fact here, because that is something you can add to your essay later. These are interesting facts, interesting information that you think is important. It's not just random facts. It has to go with your topic, access to water or demand for water or pollution. Okay, so I'm going to give an example. So I have a list. Hey, Miss Abby, you really need to listen to this for me, please. In a minute, I'm going to show you where all of the resources are that you're going to use today. But I'm going to show you something that isn't something you would find on the list. So here's one of my, remember I said I've been collecting articles about water. So in this one, it's about another Rotary Club. And what's interesting about this one, I'm not going to read a bunch of it, but this article talks about, ooh, a little too big there, talks about these lovely people who don't have enough water, but then they came up with a really interesting solution. So it says residents of two communities near, I don't even know if I can pronounce this one. Let me see. Aurangabad, India, get their water from wells that are recharged annually by monsoon rain. But within a few months after the rain ends, the well runs dry. The community members either must go further afield to fetch water or must buy it, which they cannot afford. So then the Rotary Club decided to find an eco-friendly solution using some really easy technology. They just made some little dams. And these little small dams are constructed across a gully. Does anybody know what a gully is? It's like a little ditch that's beside the road you might just very shallow, not a big one necessarily, but they built these little dams across this natural gully to gather the water so it wouldn't just run off. So do you think this picture is from the monsoon season or from the dry season? From the monsoon. See, they have lots of water now and lots of water that was running through, but if they gather it and have some different areas that they can keep, and all they're doing is keeping it from continuing down the gully. They were adding that. So if I read this article and I wanted to add something here, would I put it under interesting new information or would I put it under solution? Really? I think I would put it under solutions, wouldn't I? Because that's not one of the things that I've learned about yet of how to gather water so that people could have access. So now I'm going to write a sentence. I'm not going to write it doesn't have to be perfect. This is notes. These are my notes, but will I use them later? Yes. Will I have time to go back and find this information again later when I'm writing my essay? No. So whatever I write down here has to be pretty clear. So I'm going to say in India, the Rotary Club built dams across gullies to collect water. Do I need to write much more than that? Nope, that would work really well. Now, now that I know what, we talked about what gullies are, so forth. So if I wanted to become a Rotarian or help them with that or donate money to that, that's something somebody could do. And it's just not, and it's not even that expensive. It's not as expensive as trying to build a pipeline, but that's another option, right? That's another way to solve that problem. Now, if I had continued to read, I might find another interesting fact to add and put it on this side. But you're wanting to mostly focus on solutions, but if you find some really awesome facts that you want to add, put them on that side, okay? Yes, Mr. Noah. You sure can. All right, so this is what we need to do. You are going, so again, you have all these resources, right? You have your One Well book. You have your workbook that has articles in it. You also are going to find, so everybody today has brought their computers, and my friends at home are going to find this as well. Today, under today's assignment, whenever I find it, there we go, EL lesson for Wednesday. When you open it up, it's going to have lots of resources. So my friends at home I want you to fill out the note catcher as well, but you're going to type your information in there, okay? So when you click on it, it's going to open a doc. So I'm going to pretend that I'm Ben, and I'm going to pretend I'm in this section here. So when you open this, Ben, it's going to give you your very own, see, I'm pretending I'm you. It's going to give you your very own place to type in, okay? And then later on, Mrs. Aubin or I are going to ask you to share it. You're going to share it with us, and so that we can see what you've added in here. All right, Ms. Haley, Ms. Haley Calendar, are you listening? You're going to type your notes in here, okay? Or whichever one belongs to you. You're going to type, and I'll let you know which that's going to be in a minute. Do we need this one? Do we need the online one in person? No, because I'm going to hand you a paper one. You're going to have that. Now, that's great, but what are these resources Mrs. Harrison said she was going to have for us? So if you look in here, it says demand resources. If I open up demand resources, if I click on it, it's going to give me a Google Doc. In the Google Doc, I have lots and lots and lots of different links. All right, look at all of them. And your group needs to decide. Your group is going to divide and conquer. We don't expect every one of you in your little group. There's going to be 3 people to a group, except for there is a group of 2 here and there. But in your group, I've already made your groups, Sven. I already made your groups. We've already decided. Sorry about that. We made them up already. So when you are deciding, so say I'm in this demand group with August and Elena. So we have all these different possible things. Some of them are videos, some of them are articles, some of them are even some other slightly different things for you to see. So I'm going to say, hey, Miss Elena, why don't you read Many People in Flint Don't Trust the Water? And then August, you read California Needs Rain. And then I'm going to read the 100 Ways to Save Water. And then the 3 of us are going to do our individual read. And then I'm going to say, hey, August, look what I found. Hey, let's write this down in our solution. Okay. And then Elena's going to, oh, but look what I found. And then she's going to tell me what to write in my solution. And then August is like, no, I have this best fact that I just found out. It's going to make your essay amazing. And he's going to tell us, and then we're going to write, and I'm going to write it down. Okay? And Elena's going to write it down. Okay? You're going to do this as, the whole idea is, you don't have time to read them all. So divide and conquer and then help each other fill out your form. I would love it if your form is filled out with all kinds of great ideas before we start writing our essay tomorrow. Okay? Lots of things. Now, I want to show again how this happens. So when you click on the link, then the link shows up below, right? You click on that, it's going to take you to another tab. Now, Newsella isn't something you guys have looked at before necessarily this year, so it might ask you to log in with your Google, your Google sign in. So if it asks for that, go ahead and do that. But here's this article that you're going to read the whole article and add some things down. they can sometimes, there's all these other things, search and browse. I have already assigned you all the things. You don't need to be searching for anything. I've already found all of them for you, okay? And then when you're done with that, you can just close your tab and then go back to the next one. Now, the 100 ways to save water, does that sound familiar? Yes, we looked at that one before. Yes, but did we write anything down? No, so that might be it. So now there's an opportunity to go back to that. I want to show you, there's also some other things that aren't necessary. There's a lot of videos too here. So here's access resources. So this means if you're in charge of accessing water, how are you going to help other people access water? Are we going to go to Africa and build a well? Probably not, right? We're going to somehow figure out how to help without going ourselves. So remember how we talked about Ryan's Well Foundation? That was on our one month. Well, here's their website. Go in and look and see about what they're doing to be able to help. All right. There's a school competition. There's all kinds of exciting things. All right. And then, so there's also videos. So let me see. Trying to remember which ones are videos and which ones are just articles. Oh boy, lots of them. Desert. Okay, so here, this one's a video. All right, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. You're probably going to want to listen. You're probably going to need some earphones so you don't disturb the people who are sitting near you. But again, divide and conquer. Not all three of you should be watching the same video together. That's not good time management, right? All right, so there's a bunch there. I want to show you, there's this this water map. When I click on it, it's a little different. It's a website. So some of these are websites as well. So this is really interesting. This is clean water in the world. UNICEF works with 100 more countries to give children and families. So here they have all these little dots. So when you click on one, it tells you more about it. So sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's just a picture, but then you can read about different places that around the world that they have helped. So this page itself has tons and tons of different places that you can just click on the very different little marks there. Everyone has a different one. And I have to tell you, I had to reload this website a couple times when I was trying to do it because it wouldn't let me, it would let me pick one, but not the next one. So if you close it and open it again, it'll let you look. All right. Okay. So I want to make sure everybody sees. Everybody, whether you're remote or whether you're in person, here are your resources. Are you going to look at all 3 pages? No, you're only focusing on your page, okay? If your access, if your demand, if your pollution. My remote friends, are you going to use all 3 note catchers? No, just the one that goes with you, right? Your note catcher, all of them are assigned to you, but you're only going to pick one, all right? And then you're going to type in your things in there and share it with us. All right. So I haven't given you what your subject is or your group is yet, but are there any questions about what I'm asking you to do today? Ellie? Yes, you may. Sunny? Yes, that's my very next thing. I'm asking for questions first before I hand out and do my breakout rooms and everything. Yes. Any questions about what your job is? Noah? You mean the PSA? You mean the one that we just all watched? I don't think you need to watch that one again. So I think you need new information, right? I think you need new information. So that's not on my list anymore. All right. Charlie, do you have a question? Okay, so let's you and I we can talk about that. It's on a different assignment, so you can probably go back to that. Abby, do you have a question? What your groups are? I know you're getting that's important to you guys next. Okay, so when you do get your groups, I really need you and my friends at home, Mrs. Aubin, do you want to do I can do the breakout rooms if you want to pass out the papers. Would that be okay? Are you in a good spot for that? Okay, so Mrs. Alvin is gonna call you and you'll notice which group you are by the name at the top, right? Because they're all the same. So here's all the groups and they're all paper clipped together and with the correct piece of paper. So you can go ahead. Do you want my mic? Or are you good? All right. So my friends at home. All right, my friends at home. You're going to be into two groups. All right. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. Okay. All right. So let me make you guys big. Okay. All right. Here you go. All right. So Mr. Ben, Miss Haley, and Mr. Leo. Are you guys all listening? All right. Haley, give me a thumbs up if you hear me. All right. Ben and Leo, you are one group. So I'm going to put you in a breakout group in a minute. But you three are going to help each other. And you are going to be access. Okay. So which Haley, you're going to be access. Ben, you're access. And Leo. All three of you are access. So that's how do you get the water. Okay. So that means Gavin, Jensen, Gavin. Oh, don't leave, Gavin. I need to talk to you, bud. All right, Jensen, give me a thumbs up if you're listening. Jensen, there, give me a thumbs up if you're listening.
Yeah, I am.
All right, Gavin, Jensen, and Ethan are going to be pollution. All right, so Jensen, do you hear that you're pollution? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Gavin has disappeared. Mr. Ethan, you're going to be working on pollution. All right, pollution. So hopefully you're listening. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room. Do you guys understand where you go to get your note catcher? Does everybody remember where you go to get your note catcher? And you have your very own. So Ben's not sure. So Ben, what? I'll share. So I'm sharing here again.
Yeah,
So Ben, go to
I
the
know about water pollution.
password. Okay.
I just want to get this meeting over with. If meetings are kind of boring for me.
I know, Ethan, but you're going to work with your group to get some ideas because you have great ideas. So Ben, if you go into the assignment,
Sure, what
go
else?
into the assignment and your access, okay? So you're going to go click on where it says extra note catcher access. All right, Ben? And it's going when you click on that, it's going to give you your very own to type in. All right? And you're going to type your notes in that. And then you're going to go, and then you and Leo and Haley can decide who are going to do what part to get your notes. Okay? You guys get to do that page together. All right? All right. All right. I'm going to put you guys in some breakout rooms. And Jensen, I'm going to ask you to help be a leader because since Gavin walked away, I'm going to help you be a little bit of a leader here. Okay? All right. I'm going to take a breakout room and put you three. I'm going to sign it manually and create. Oh, no. Try that again. Mrs. Harrison screwed up. Here we go. Breakout rooms. Recreate. I need 2 breakout rooms. There we go. That's better. All right. So I'm going to assign Ben, Haley, and Leo to the first one. And I'm going to assign Gavin, Jensen, and Ethan to the other one. All right, guys, use your time wisely, okay? Use your time wisely. So I think that would be fine if Mrs. Aubin is willing to walk next door. So double check with Mrs. Aubin if she's willing to walk next door.
Can we get off the phone?
Yes. So which one? Robert. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So poor Jensen is by himself at the moment. Jensen, because Gavin is walked away and Ethan hasn't joined. So yes, of course.
Do you want me to take some to the other class?
It's up to you.
I need some
Do you want So I just said I had some of the things in there. So you, and then when you're done with them, just put them on my, counter and then I'll wash them, okay? Oh, do you have your own? Oh, go grab your own. I have some kids who don't have any, so okay.
Hi.
You're muted.
I'm not muted.
Mr. Harrison, you're muted.
Yeah, Miss Harris.
Sorry, thank you. Thanks, Jensen. So guys, I need to make sure you share. Are you listening, Ethan? You're gonna share your note catcher and show me what you got done. All right, Ethan, can you hear me? Can you share your note catcher with me so I can look at and see what you've done? All right, the electronic note catcher you typed in. All right, guys, I'll see you guys. We'll do this some more. We'll work on this some more tomorrow. If you have any questions.
Goodbye.
Okay?
Goodbye, Miss Harrison.